Welcome to a new episode of Slow View, your chill-out zone, decelerated and relaxed. Enjoy Venice, one of the most beautiful and unusual cities in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now begin our landing approach to Venice. Please fasten your seat belts and remain seated until the engines have come to a complete stop. To our right you can now take a first look at the lagoon landscape of Venice. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this film. We wish you good entertainment and pleasure with the wonderful pictures and impressions you are now expecting. Attention please. We welcome you to Venice for a new episode of Slow View and wish you a relaxing stay. Please follow the instructions and now go directly to the boats that will take you to the center of Venice. Attention please. A note for our visitors. We will give you some information from time to time during your stay. Please remain relaxed as nothing in this film is fast or hectic. Enjoy your time in Venice and simply ignore the many tourists who are still there. We apologize for that, but others find Venice very attractive as well. The Canal Grande is an almost 4 km long, between 30 and 70 meters wide and up to 5 meters deep main waterway in the lagoon city of Venice. It is the last part of the northern arm of the Brenta River, which runs through the lagoon, which is why the water here always flows, in contrast to the other Venetian canals. About 45 smaller canals flow into the Canal Grande. 4 bridges currently span the canal, the oldest of which is the Rialto Bridge. It is a covered limestone bridge built in place of a wooden bridge at the end of the 16th century. Until the construction of the Scalzi Bridge and the Accademia Bridge in the 19th century, the Rialto Bridge was the only fixed link across the canal. In the summer of 2007, the construction of a 4th bridge, designed by the Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava, began. 1 year later the bridge was inaugurated as Ponte della Costituzione. In addition to the bridges and the municipal vaporetti, gondolas at 8 points will enable the bridge to cross the Canal Grande. Piazza San Marco is the most important and most famous square in Venice. The square is 175 meters long and up to 82 meters wide and is the only square in the city called Piazza. The other squares of Venice are called campi because they were originally not paved. Alfred de Musset called Piazza San Marco the Salon of Europe. The square, located in the district of San Marco, is characterized by the facade of the Basilica di San Marco with its campanile and is surrounded by the old and new procurates. Extended by the so-called Piazza top, it reaches the Doge's Palace and opens onto the water, the Bacino di San Marco, at the beginning of the Grande Canal. Since 1480 there have been 3 nave masts in front of St. Mark's Church, on which the St. Mark's banner blows on Sundays and public holidays. Since the square rises only slightly above sea level, it is flooded again and again at high tide. Like the entire city center, the square is a single large pedestrian zone. The most beautiful ballroom in Europe, as Napoleon called it, is populated by tourists, photographers, and pigeons. The Basilica of San Marco in Venice was the central state sanctuary of the Republic of Venice until its end in 1797 and has been the cathedral of the Patriarch of Venice since 1807. The church is divided into 3 naves by 4 mighty pillars and 6 columns. The 5 domes rest on the pillars. The transept arms also have 3 naves. The spatial effect is impressive, while the floor is covered with ornamental mosaics of marble and the wall in the lower areas covered with slabs of marble of all kinds. The upper wall zones and the entire ceiling are covered with mosaics of gold ground. The entire interior of San Marco is a highlight of the mosaic art of the Occident. The mosaics on a gold background gave the cathedral the name Golden Basilica. The work began in 1071, but most of the mosaics were created in the 13th century. The mosaics cover an area of more than 8,000 square meters and thus form one of the largest continuous mosaic areas in the world.
Beam me up, Scotty.
The Campanile di San Marco is the bell tower of St. Mark's Cathedral. Its height is 98.6 meters, making it the highest building in Venice. Originally its top served as a lighthouse for the ships. The tower is a symbol of the city and from here you can enjoy a magnificent view over the lagoon city. The Palazzo Ducale. Since the 9th century, the Doge's Palace in Venice has been the seat of the Doge and of the governmental and judicial organs of the Republic of Venice. The palace was the governmental and administrative center of the Republic and at the same time an impressive symbol of the greatness and power of the maritime Republic of Venice. In the early days of the Republic, it was probably here that the People's Assembly met to elect the Doge by acclamation, and the Doge's Palace was the meeting place of the Great Council, from which the members of all government bodies were recruited. The palace is one of the most important secular buildings of the Gothic period and a brilliant work of Venetian architecture. The splendor of the Republic of Venice can be seen here in the interior decoration with stucco, gilded carvings, historical paintings, and allegories, and even the great painters of Venice have handed down to posterity the past splendor and glory of the lagoon city. Because of the always too small number of prison cells in the Doge's Palace itself, a new state prison was planned from 1563 and connected with the palace by the 1603 completed Ponte dei Sospiri, the so-called Bridge of Sighs. The Signori di Notte al Criminal, the Lords of the Night, were a security police and responsible for the public safety of the city. The Bridge of Sighs, as it has been called since the 19th century, owes its name allegedly to the last sighs that the delinquents cried for a long time, if not forever, after the daylight when they were brought over the bridge to the prison cells. Thank you for watching Slow View. If you liked this movie, subscribe to our YouTube channel Slow View and don't miss any of the upcoming movies. Share the film with friends, colleagues, relatives, acquaintances, and anyone else who might be interested. Thank you very much and see you next time.